Creation's Journey to Life, Day 12, Brainwashing and Mind Control. I forgive myself that I have accepted and allowed myself to not realize the obvious fact that every person born on earth is in fact brainwashed and mind controlled through what they are taught through family, education, and all systems of society. I forgive myself that I have accepted and allowed myself to erroneously claim that anything that threatened my brainwashing is brainwashing, without realizing that that is the failsafe of mind control, and that it established such clear control that the brainwashed actually believe they have made a free choice as a free will being, when it is obvious, if we dare to investigate, that no free will exists and no free choice can exist, as we are in a reality where we are subject to many forces and conditions that control our choices in every way. I forgive myself that I have accepted and allowed myself to refuse to use the evidence that the world as society produce as a benchmark to see to what extent I am in fact brainwashed and mind controlled, to make sure that I will accept living in fear and do nothing to produce a world that is best for all, without me realizing that my decision to support inequality do not benefit me. It only benefit those that benefit from my pre-programmed desires. I forgive myself that I have accepted and allowed myself to be so convinced of my own power of mind that I failed to see that the voice in my head as my thoughts were not me when I was born. It was programmed into me to act like my personal God that keep me in line with the way the system worked, where I will never consider what is best for all life, as my program says that what is best for all life is impossible. This confirms the extent of my brainwashing and submission to control of the mind, and has been part of my life every day in every way, with only the fuzzy logic choices of like and dislike to entertain me and make me believe that I have choice in fact, when I do not have any say about what happens in reality. Even my vote counts for nothing, as the choices will be made by a few people that made me believe that what they represent is me in a democratic society where my voice counts. But my brainwashing make me blind to the honest truth, because then I will have to admit that I am in fact brainwashed, and admitting that would mean that everything I have ever believed is a lie, and that would invalidate every choice I have ever made, and that it is just too much. There must be something I did right. But I do not realize that the program is so perfect that it made sure that every way that I could in fact find life was covered with a lie, and there was only one point that could not be covered with a lie, so it was covered with the greatest fear possible. And that point was that life is in fact equal, and only through this equality can life ever be free. But the fear that such an equality must be communism is impossible, and is impossible because the human nature cannot change, and one can never trust a human, are but a few of the fears that was programmed in to make sure I will never be free. I forgive myself that I have accepted and allowed myself to continue in this world as if nothing is wrong, and as if there is no splinter in my mind that constantly reminds me that something is just not in place, and that I refuse to use the simple mathematics of the equality equation to measure the equality of the relationships that is the framework of the human system, to see if the obvious answer as equality as the mathematical equation actually exists, where both sides of the equation must be equal, or someone will win and someone will lose. And I do not like losing, so I ended up going for the winning at all cost, no matter what harm it brings. All I have to do, though, is test all relationships as to its equality, and I will see the world is in trouble, and so I am, unless I equalize all relationships to be equal in giving and receiving, as Jesus suggested a long time ago. Peace and life and freedom, love, can never exist but as a figment in my imagination of the illusion of my self created mind world, where I have a programmed personal God that will keep me in line with the system. I forgive myself that I have accepted and allowed myself to refuse to see that I and all others like me as humans are screwed in every way by our own dishonesty, and our personal God as the personality as ego that constantly remind us of the rules of the brainwashing and mind control, so that we remain in line as we march inevitably to our death without ever really living in spite of having received the gift of life at birth. Yet we abdicate it as we follow without question what we have found on earth as if it is the only real reality. I must stop and set myself free. I must take responsibility. I commit myself to stop and take responsibility for my life, to investigate all relationships and to equalize them in every way, to demonstrate that we as humans can in fact coexist as equals and create a world of love and peace where all of us are included in living a life of happiness. I commit myself to understand the tool as my mind where I have lost my footing and got lost in my own personal God mania as the personality that I may set myself free from this personal obsession creation machine, to take responsibility for all that is here as the actual life, as the physical world, before I end up driving everything to extinction in my quest for personal happiness in the mind. I commit myself to share the evidence that I find in blogs and vlogs, to place in physical evidence the findings of my research, that it may be available for all to see, so that I, with others, may create a self evident investigative published work of research as the signs we have found to establish our own peer reviewed work as the science of life, where profit will never again determine what is best for all life, where the control of the mind through self interest will never again be seen as science. In this way, we will leave a living record as living words that will never be destroyed. I commit myself to stop my addiction to the fake power that the mind make me believe in, and to break free from the brainwashing and mind control, and to be in service of life, as that is the real dominion on earth and will make earth a paradise. I commit myself to no longer eat the fruit of the tree of knowledge, as it is tainted and poisoned with profit and self interest, and cannot be trusted, and to establish the tree of life to be the only valid fruit that will contain the knowledge of the equality of life, so that we may return to life and the life we were given. I commit myself to speak out and to publish and reveal in every way possible all the ways that the brainwashing and mind control work till all wake up to the fact that all have denied life and have fallen in the trap of the money god that use rules and forgiveness that do not support life, but only support those that love the money god. I commit myself to stop the money god through knowing myself as life and knowing what I have allowed as the personality, so that I may correct and restore this world to its former glory before I, as man, arrived here.